Morning folks, hello, welcome back to the channel. This morning in this video we're going to address my wood storage area. As you can see, it's very well organised. We've got all sorts of random bits of wood from all sorts of older projects, plenty of pallets as you'd imagine, and other offcuts. There's a bed there and there's a rack and there's all sorts, but I never throw anything out because worst case scenario it'll be kindling for the fire or for the rocket stove, so there's no point doing that. But as you can see, it can't really stay like this because it's a right mess. So we're going to come up with some sort of a rack with wheels so we can move it around, get it out of the sun, get everything on shelves or boxes, or I'm not sure what yet. We're just going to sort of make it up as we go along. We're going to try and use the materials we've got here. I don't really want to go and spend any money if I don't have to, but also I changed my car recently and I've got no roof rack or anything to transport any decent lumber, so that's not really an option. So we're going to try and make do with what we've got here, and the first thing we're going to do is focus on the base, which I think I've got this pallet here, which is actually a really big pallet. As you can see there, it's a good 1.70 m probably. So this is going to be the base. So the first thing we'll do is get this sorted, get some wheels on it, take it from there. It's got a bit of a warp, as you can see. So I think I'm actually going to break the pallet down, take advantage of these slats on the top, the really long ones, and then basically put them all back together without the gap and then fit the wheels. Try and remove some of the weight as well because it's super heavy with all this excess stuff on there. It doesn't need to be as robust because it's not going to be lifting any blocks or whatever it was used for originally. So I think we can get on with breaking it down. Right then, so there's hundreds of different ways to break down a pallet. Everyone's kind of got their opinion about it. One thing in common is all the nails are like twisted nails, so they're really hard to get out. You know, these things aren't designed to be broken down. Personally, I like to try and preserve as much of the wood as possible. So I'm not a big fan of coming in with a jigsaw or a sable saw and cutting through here and then cutting through there, etc., etc. So I like to try and keep the wood in one piece and with as little damage as possible. So for that reason, my preference is to use the sable saw and to actually just cut through, it's a metal blade, and just cut through the nails and then just tap them out with a punch, and then either put it down in the hole or whatever, depending on the application, you know, whatever I'm using the wood for. With that said, I do have a couple of different options and we'll have a quick look at how these work. Right, so we've got a typical pry bar, and then this one here, which I think is called a cat's paw. Very similar, but you've got more of a well in there. And this is designed, I think, for removing nails like this. With the cat's paw, you basically got to try and come at the nail, hammer it in, and then trying to get hold of the head. You see, we damaged the wood because the wood's quite soft. We haven't even got the depth yet. There we go. And then you can pry it out. Switch to a hammer. There we go. And we've got the nail out, but as you can see, we've left a lot of damage behind. So to be honest, it's not ideal. This is another one, slightly shallower. So again, you sort of got to come in at it. Wash it a bit further under. Then we can remove the nail. Pretty serious nail. But again, we've damaged the wood, so not great. The other side, again, is like a cat's paw, but it seems to be a bit shallower. The grooves are very different. I don't know if you can see that or not. So I'll give this a bash. Again, you still got to hammer it into place. But it's got a flatter side here for hammering. Okay, this time we're much closer. And once you get the head on its way, and we're all the way in there. So what you can do, once you've got to a certain height, we haven't really got the purchase anymore. This is too high up now, the nail's too long. And if you're worried about damaging the wood, you can get another piece, put it in behind like that, and then add to it as you need to. You're spreading, by using a longer piece like this, you're spreading the load across the pallet. Oh, there we go. And that's come out quite well and it hasn't damaged it. That one there is the way to go. As you can see there, I've actually split the wood now, so it's not the best. And this is the problem with putting too much pressure. It's not even a very big nail, but you can see the damage already. It's almost unusable now, fortunately. So I'll show you my preferred method. Right, so we're going to put it on its end. Get a bit of wood in there to stand it up. And now we're looking to get the saw, it's just a hacksaw, down inside this groove here that we can then saw through the nails. Much less impact, much less chance of damaging the wood. It's my preferred method. So there's a gap already starting to form. You can get the saw down inside that gap, and then it's electric, which is good. And then obviously just cut through the nails. The heads will remain in the board, you tap them out afterwards, but it's the best way to try and preserve the wood without damaging it so much. Right then, let's give it a test. That's free. So sometimes as you're moving along, the gap isn't big enough. Sometimes you have to help it out by just giving it a little bit of a tap. If you're worried about damaging the board, you could always put another piece in there. But we're only talking about opening it a couple of mil to fit the blade in. There we go. And there we go. So the board's now free. Probably just see got the nails sticking through there, so where we've cut them. The board was pretty much undamaged. Got a crack in it, might have to glue that up. So now the heads are all still in. So you could leave them if you wanted to. It's up to you. It depends on what you're doing. But me personally, I'm just going to get a punch and just tap them out. There we go. There's the head of the nail popped out. So you can see the two holes there, they're quite small. You could drill them out to 6 mil and put a dowel in, glue a dowel in, then sand it flush and you've covered the holes. Again, it entirely depends on what you're going to do. Anyway, I'm going to carry on, finish this off, and I'll come back to you once all the wood's prepped. There we go. So that's everything we've got left. Quite a lot of nails to work through. That's why I prefer just cutting them and boshing on. It protects the wood, it protects my back, and the work gets done a lot quicker. So I'm all for that. What we're going to do now, the wood's been sat out in the sun for a while, which is why it's got this grey colour. So it's pallet wood, as you know. It's pretty hardy, it's pretty thick. I'm just going to go at it with a flap disc. It's a 120 grit, so it's not like a 4, it's not too aggressive. We'll just go over lightly. It makes really super fast work of this. We're not looking for a great finish because it is just a storage rack. But at least we'll remove this grain and get a good surface for putting a bit of stain, just to stop it graying and making sure it lasts a bit longer. So we'll crack on with the flap disc for now. Right, I can't find my face mask, so I've dug out one of these old COVID ones. Looking good. So there we go, basically. It takes it back to a nice colour. It's quite a smooth finish, to be honest, but it's fairly fast. It's quite a brutal disc. It makes light work of it, and that's good enough for what we're doing. You can see the difference there. So I'm just going to bosh through and get them all done. Right, this is going to take me a good while. I've only just done the one. So I'm going to light the fire and start slow cooking some chicken. There we have it, folks. Right, lunch is over. and it was epic. But now I'm afraid it's time to get back to work. And I've got these things here, these two, or actually these three big wooden beams. And I'm thinking they're actually going to be pretty good as the cross members. Can obviously put one in the middle for strength. The reason I'm liking them is because when I put the coaster on there, I'm going to be able to drive a really chunky screw. And the same with the base there, I'm going to be able to drive some serious screws down. Bit of wood glue in that as well, and we're going to have a properly solid base, I think, to then build up from. So we're going to get to giving these a bit of a clean up. Whoa. Right, that's the last one done. Looks pretty good. I've just knocked the edges off as well, just with the flap disc there. Just knocked the edges off, just to stop getting splinters or whatever when I'm working on it. But I think that's pretty good. They're all the right size. So I think we'll line them all up here, and we'll start getting it all dry fitted up. Use my combination square to set this where I want it. Call it 10 centimeters. So it's basically going to stick over 10 centimeters. Or is it? I don't know. Or is it better just being right on the end? I think it is. No, we're just going to go right on the end. Right, so to get maximum strength out of the end pieces, I'm going to go all the way to the end here. These are 69 long, 69.3. So we'll say 35 short. That's the middle. And these are 7 wide, the boards. So I'm going to mark the middle there, 3.5. And basically I'm going to start in the middle and work my way this way, because these are slightly shorter than the boards. So one will stick over. So to make sure it's even either side, we'll start in the middle and work that way. I've got one of these countersink drill bits, so I'll be able to countersink as we go. So we'll put 2 screws in. Just going to secure this board to begin with. Nice. So now that's in place, we're going to line the boards up now. And this board is sticking out just under 2, and this board is sticking out just under 2. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and get these all drilled in place. So we'll go ahead and get them screwed in place now. So that's the last one in now. So we'll go ahead and do the same thing at the other end. Okay. Right, there we go. That's the board in the middle. So we'll go ahead and secure that so that we can push the rest against it. Perfect. So now we'll go ahead and get these drilled out. Whoop. Snap the drill bit. Got a backup. Got a little grub screw. You just slacken off the grub screw. That pulls off. There's the broken drill bit. Pop the new one back in. And this just slides back over. And then you just have to set your depth and tighten up the grub screw. Now we're going to drill another hole. just get it screwed in place. We'll just hammer that drill bit down and in when we're doing the final fit up. Nice. Right, middle one it is. Right, so for the middle one, the boards are 168, so that's 34, 50, 84. So I'll mark the center here, 84. 84. And then this bad boy here is 8.5, so we want 425. So we'll mark 425, which is there. I'm going to repeat that on the other side. 425. Right, and we have to go in 2 centimeters. Okay, perfect. This side here, 4 centimeters, 2 in. Okay, excellent. Right, let's get drilled. It's screw time. Right, perfect. We can flip it over and see how it looks for the casters. Oh, it's definitely chunky. So I've just got the 4. I'll have to pop out to the shop on Monday, get another 2 for the middle. But for now, we can fit them up on the ends here. You can get it 3 in from the end. Okay, perfect. I'm thinking these are pretty good. They're going to go in pretty far. Nice. Just drill out the other holes. Get these screws in. Okay, excellent. We'll just carry on and do the other 3. Right, that's the last one now. So we'll flip it over, see how she performs. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Let's test it. It's pretty strong, bit of flex there, it's to be expected. Once we get the coaster wheels under the middle there with a bit of support, that should solve that. It's pretty chunky, so it's not going to snap. And besides which, it doesn't have to take my weight, it just has to take the weight of the wood, and it'll be spread across. So it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Right, I think we can unscrew everything, get it glued up, screw it back together, and then paint it. Right, there we go. Glued and screwed. We'll do the rest. Okay, that's the last one done. It's all glued and screwed. So I'm going to go and have a look, see if I've got some stain kicking about. Well, I've got 3 little tins of stain. They're all different colours because of testers that are left over from another project. What I'm going to do, because this bit is basically going to be hidden under all the stuff we're going to build on top of it, and the underside is the underside, I'm just going to mix them all up in this old plant pot here, and then just mix them all together and just get it on there, just for a bit of protection. But before I do that, I'm going to flip it over, paint the underside first. So we'll just carry on, get that finished up. Okay, perfect. Colour's looking really good. Not a bad mix in the end. Okay, perfect. Now we'll just carry on and finish the top. Right, there we go. Nice. I've got enough left for a second coat, so we're going to let this dry for a little bit and then go back at it. Might as well use this up rather than putting it away now that I've made this weird hybrid colour. Right, there we go, perfect. I'm going to call it a day at that. That's 2 coats, it's looking pretty good. Let you check it out. So I'm pretty chuffed all in all. Not a bad day's work. It's definitely a good solid base to then start building off. I'm going to have a think now about the design of how I want to lay out the wood on the racks, etc. But that's going to be for another day. So morning folks, welcome back to the channel. Hunters, shotgun, going for birds. Anyway, day 2 of the wood storage rack build. This is looking pretty good. I really like the colour. That mix of paints worked out really well. The finish is pretty good. It looks solid. So what I'm thinking for the next part is to build up a frame in the middle here, the full length with shelves. Here we're going to add some boxes of different heights, maybe 1, 2, 3 boxes. This height, that height, so we can put wood straight in. And this side, we're going to run a stopper along the edge here, and then some sort of a slant up to this frame where we could maybe put some plywood sheets on. That's what I'm thinking. We'll see how it develops as we're going along. But for now, we're going to go over to the table saw and my wood pile, measure up and rip some boards out of some of the material we've got over there to build up this sort of central frame to begin with. So I've got this old table, this old IKEA table, and you can probably see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 7 panels. I'm sure they'll have been glued together back in the day, but they're also screwed together here as well, so we'll need to remove that piece. We need a length of 1.70 meters, and this is 180, so that's perfect. So I'm thinking each board is essentially 4 wide. So I'm thinking on the table saw, just rip down the gaps and just split them off into individual pieces. They'll be 4 by 3, which is pretty substantial. And I reckon that's what we're going to do to start building the frame. So I'm going to grab the table saw, put it over here on the soil, so all the sawdust can just go into the field and not make a mess. So it's 4 and a bit. I'm going to set it to 4 because of the blade width. So it'll just hopefully just cut down the line, keep it fairly uniform. Right, that's the blade set up. Let's get to ripping. Right, we've got 10 pieces, all looking pretty uniform. They actually look in good condition as well, all things considered. So we'll take those down now back to the base, and then we'll do some measuring up. Okay, perfect. I was going to build up the sort of central frame where essentially the shelves are going to be up to 1 metre high, but as these pieces are 1,80 m, it kind of makes sense, rather than cut them to 1 metre and then have an 80 that I can't do much with, kind of makes sense just to split them down the middle and call it 90. So with that said, I should be able to just chop it in the middle there. The whole thing is 1,68.5 m long. Along this side I'm going to go for 3 boxes, so that's 56 each. I want the boxes obviously to screw into the base, but also to screw into the frame. So I'm going to need one here, which 2 boxes share, another one there, which 2 boxes share, and the final piece, so that's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces, both sides. So that's a total of 8 uprights cut to 90. So I'm going to grab the chop saw, I'm going to get those cut to kick things off. Okay, so I've got my piece here, and I've set the measure to 90, the center of the blade to 90. The blade's a couple of mil, so it will probably 89.8 or something like that. I've just clamped it down here so it's not going to move, and then I'm going to place this plant pot here just as a stopper like that. So the next cut I'll just butt it up here, and then it'll just be good to go. I won't have to keep remeasuring. Let's get the power on and get these cut. Just double check before we cut the rest. 90 shy of a mil. Oh, perfect. 90 shy of a mil. So for this one, we'll just butt it up against the plant pot, clamp it down, just double check. Yep, perfect. There we go, 2, 4, 6, 8 pieces cut. Right, so these bits are basically going to sit like this, more or less. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go for 1 shelf in the middle. The base will act as the bottom shelf. And obviously we need to put a beam across the top for structural support. So we're going to use these. I'm going to cut them down to size, same length as the base, 168. I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to cut 6 pieces down to 168 in length. First thing I'm going to do before I cut them to length is I'm just going to square off the end. We'll just clamp it down so it doesn't move. So now that we've done that, we've squared off the end, we can cut it to length. We'll just square off the rest of the ends first. Now we've squared off the ends, we'll use this end up against the plant pot and get them cut down to 169. 169, nice. Clamped in place, plant pot set up, make a cut. Let's just measure that before we carry on. 169, bang on. Okay, let's repeat that. Right, so that's everything that we need. Cut to length. Basically, it's going to sit something like that. Something along those lines. So what I'm thinking is, turn this piece on its side, it's the longest piece, and making a sort of a type of rabbit joint, taking a piece out of this and a piece out of this so that they can basically sit on top of each other, like butt together basically. So we can probably do that on the miter saw. I've got some of those offcuts, I'm going to have a little practice. Right, so essentially that's going to be the long piece running that way, 4 high, 3 wide, and that's going to be that piece up there like that. And we're going to remove half, we're going to remove that, I'm going to remove this. So by removing this section here and this section here, these will squeeze together, and the 2 pieces together will be 3. That's the plan at least. So in order to do that, I'm going to put it in the miter saw, and I have to set the depth so that it can't go below. So my combination square set to 1/2. Right, so just use my combi square there just to run a line down the middle basically. And now we have to try and set the depth on this bad boy so that the teeth don't go beyond that. So we've got this screw on the side here. As we screw this in, it moves down and pushes against here and stops you going too far down. So we're going to put it all the way in as best we can. Okay, and then we'll see where we're at. Almost there. So we just screw this in, and as it comes down, it maxes out there to stop the depth, to set the depth, should I say. And then over here, we can see the teeth aren't quite reaching the line, so we've basically gone too far, so we need to back it off a little bit. Okay, that's it, I think. So I've marked the line there, and the teeth just on the line. So basically, you just... So as you can see there, you just move it across. You still need to tidy it up a little bit, but you can see how they then sit like that across each other. I think it's a rabbit joint. And then we'll glue it and screw it as well. We're keeping the same width the whole way across and join them up quite nicely. I've got my combination square set to 1.5, so I'm just going to mark out where these cuts are going to go. So as you can see there, I've just marked the piece there that needs to be lobbed off. We'll do that for the rest. Right, that's the last piece marked up. Got one for the bottom, one for the top, one for the bottom, one for the top. The end piece is here, the end piece is there. We're going to get that initial frame cut and set up and see how it's looking, and then we can think about the spaces here and also the middle shelf. So I've just put this temporary fence here just to bring the workpiece forwards, just so it's more in line with where the blade teeth are. I can't actually travel all the way now because of the way I've adjusted it, so I'm going to bring it forwards to here, which should be perfect. Before we get started, we'll just double check the height of the teeth again, and they look pretty good. I'll actually clamp this to the blade. So I know now that's where the cut is. So as I line this piece up, the line I've cut marked here, I'll mark it, I'll line it up to this piece here, and then we know where we're at. All right, let's give it a go. So that's the first cut. You can see it's just down to the line. Looks perfect. So we'll just move all the way across. So there we go, looking pretty clean. So we'll just repeat that for all of them. So that's the last one done. You can see how it sits like that, almost perfect. Get a bit of glue in there, pat it all out, some screws in there to pin it, and we should be good to go. So we're going to go back with the countersunk drill and get everything screwed up, fitted up, and see how it's looking. Okay, not bad. Looking pretty good for the most part. We'll just repeat this now, going round. Last screw. Okay, that's the dry fit done. Got the other one just over there. So one's going to go here, with some sort of a slant coming down here for the plywood. The other one that's finished is going to go here. I've got the shelves in the middle, and then we'll make some boxes. So for now I've got 4 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to have to notch these out, measure up, notch them out, and get them fitted up. So that's what we're going to do next. So I want these pieces to act as supports where the boxes can drill into. The whole thing's 168 long, so we're looking at 56 for each box. That's 56 finished, so ideally this one's to be either side. Finished. Should do some more of this. So we'll find 56 here and then mark that in the centre. 56 more. So we need to notch out this piece and notch out this piece, do the rabbet joints again, and then just slot them in place. So again, we've got this temporary fence set up to extend the blade, make the cuts in the middle this time, both sides. The process is the same. So that's how it's looking. We'll just tie that up with some sandpaper. So we'll just repeat that 3 times now. Right, that's all the cuts made. We took advantage and we cut the other ones as well. So now we're going to get to dry fitting it up, see how she looks. So that's pretty good. All fit up quite nicely. And there's kind of the first frame, which is basically going to go there. Another one on the other side, and then the shelf in the middle. Right, we'll put the other one together now. Last one going in. Perfect. So we're looking at something along those lines like that. So what we need to do now is cut another long piece to go in the middle here to create the base for the shelf. Same the other side. Got 2 long pieces left, so that's not going to be a problem. And then we'll figure out also some sort of brace for the top as well. Right, so the whole thing is 90. Assuming this is the bottom, I think we're going to have a shelf, let's say at 50, which leaves a top shelf space of 30. So I think we'll just drop that down a little bit, down to there. The top shelf's going to be 35, and now the bottom's going to be 46. So I think we'll make it 45, making the top shelf 36, 35 once the shelf's in. Right, so I think we'll get that marked, and then we'll notch it out here, here, here and here. Right, that's everything. So we can put it all back together now. I'll mark them all. That's an F. That's an A. That's an A. B. And that's a B. There we go. Spot screwed in place. Sorted. So that's one panel done. It's got some good strength about it now. Looking pretty smart. I think we can go ahead and get the other one done. Right, so that's the final piece cut. And it fits. Right, there we go. Screwed into the bottom, shelves across here, probably pallet wood or any of the offcuts, I'm not sure yet, maybe some plywood across here. Something at the top to secure it, and then we're going to build some boxes here and then the ramp to the side. I'm going to wrap that here for today. Pretty tired, got loads of other stuff to do as well, unfortunately. Hey folks, welcome back. We're going to carry on today with where we left off. We've got these frames ready to go, and we're going to get on with making the shelves for the middle and then obviously for the top as well. I've measured up, took a gauge on obviously where the gaps are on the bottom here, and I'm going to go for 22 wide shelf plus the 3 of this, so we're talking 28 in total. So I've got some offcuts, we're just going to cut them down to 28 and then just start screwing them up as we go. So with that said, let's get the chop saw set up. So pretty much same deal as before. I've measured out 28 to the blade, clamped it down so it's not moving, and set the plant pot as my stopper, whereas my fence. So I'll be able to just go bosh, cut, bosh, cut, bosh, cut, and get them all done. So yeah, there we go, all cut to the same length. Good old trusty plant pot. We're just going to bosh through the rest of these now. Come back to you when we're done. Last one done. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. 20 per shelf. So we can take these away and start now getting them fitted up and screwed in place. So first of all, I'm just going to get one of these in place, stop everything flapping around. I'm not putting any shelves at the bottom. This is just going to be to try and hold the structure in place while I do all the drilling and stuff. We'll just put another one on that end and then we can start putting these shelves in. Now that we've got it semi-secure, we'll just put it on the floor here just to make my life a bit easier. Right, so you can kind of get the idea there. This first piece here, to get things going, we're just going to have to notch it out just to match this so it comes to the end here. So we're going to mark that up now. Right then. So that's how far up we need to come. Right, there's the first bit there we need to lob off. We'll just do that with a handsaw. Perfect. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to pop one in the top here as well, just to keep everything nice and tight. Because I just think that would be sensible, because otherwise it's going to bend outwards. just need to take a bit more off this. Okay, get that screwed in place now. So we're just going to follow that along, drill, screw, drill, screw, drill, screw, till we get to the end. We've just cut the last piece to size. A quick tidy up. Perfect. Okay, there we go. So there's the shelf. Wood's going to sort of sit in there like that. Not bad. It's good length. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to do the same on the top, just to create a bit of a roof so the wood doesn't get wet. It's pretty straightforward. It's just bum, 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 and we're good, and we're done. Okay, first piece. Because we're going to use this piece to sort of line everything up, we'll put this side in first. And now I've got something to pull against whilst we're lining this up. There's a little bit of movement there, so perfect. Now it's nice and flush. Right, we'll carry on. There we go, perfect. Let's get it fitted up to the platform. Okay, perfect. So 1, 2, 3 boards. These will just screw straight into the bottom there, glue and screw when the time comes. And then you can kind of see the idea with the shelving. We're going to fit pallets in there, or wood in there, shall I say. Same again up the top here. And just fill that up. So plenty of space, to be honest. Pretty good, really. Then off this side here, we'll just build up some boxes. They won't be very deep, but they'll be tall, so they should be able to get quite a lot of stuff in. And then this side here, you can sort of see, you can imagine the sort of angle coming down and off like this for the plywood. So the next plan is we're going to strip all this down, sand it all, get it looking nice, rebuild it all in situ, glue it up, and then it can be painted. So it's time to break it down. Right, got all the shelf pieces broken down, got the old flap disc, face mask. Time to get sanding. I'll come back to you when I'm done. Last one! There we go. These ones here are the top shelf. These ones here, the middle shelf. They're all good to go. Finish is pretty good. Definitely ready to be stained. I had to glue this one up because it had a crack in it. So I dealt with that. Now we'll get on and sand the frame. Okay, perfect. Right, that's both the frames sanded. So now we're ready to basically get it in place, glued up, fitted up, screwed down, and good to go. And once we've done that, we can have a paint. So right, let's crack on. Right, so we've had a tidy up. There's no dust anywhere. Now we're gluing up. Right, so I'm just going to start off by just gluing up and putting in a few of the middle pieces here, just to keep its structure while I'm messing around with it. Once there's a few in place, we'll put it up on the top and get it screwed down, glued and screwed down onto the base there, and then we can carry on finishing off the rest of it. Okay, cool. So we'll just move it over, run a bit of glue, and then we can put it back in place. Just line it up with the pallet underneath. Okay, not bad. Right, we'll get a damp cloth and a brush and we'll have a tidy up. Just remove the excess glue with a damp cloth. Sounds like a storm's coming. Right, perfect. I think what I'm going to do now is actually move this onto the floor just so it's easy to work on because it's a bit high up here. Right, so I'm just going to pop one here, one in the middle and one at the top, just temporarily, just to keep its shape as we start to fill in the middle there. We can add these pieces down below here. We'll just do one at a time, glue and go, glue and go. So we're just going to carry on and finish that off. Okay, last two left. Okay, that's that shelf done. Been pretty good. Clean up. Right, same again on the top shelf now. Last two left. Right then, looking pretty good. Pretty happy with that. So yeah, quick tidy up and then we'll think about giving it a coat of stain. Right, I've got a little bit of stain left over from the other day. Well, the whole tub. So I'm going to use that again because I need to use it up. I'm going to have a little test to a trick I saw the other day on a YouTube short. The boy got a pencil and some zip ties. I'm sure you've seen this before. 3 zip ties, as tight as you can, of course, almost in like a triangle like that. And then he clipped them the right size to fit inside the tub. And he just lobbed it in the chuck of the drill to then make a little mini paint stirrer. So let's see how she performs. Look at that, all that lumpy stuff. Careful not to put it out too high. Okay, that'll do. Look at that. perfect. Surprisingly good, that. Bit wasteful, but still. Right, clean off my pencil. So there's my pencil. Perfect. Use that another day. These zip ties can all go in the bin. So let's get painting. Right, run out of stain. Got just about all of it done. There's a little bit left there. It's going to need a second coat anyway, so no drama. But at least I've used up all this stuff that I had kicking around. It's looking pretty good all in all. I'm quite happy with how it's looking. So I'll give it another coat, the second coat off camera. And then while we're doing that, I can have a think about the design of these boxes and what I'm going to do about that, really. Hey there folks, welcome back. We're here again today carrying on the wood rack here. Since the last video, we finished all the staining and we've given a second coat to the lot as well, which is pretty good. And we've now I've been away to the store and grabbed the missing set of casters, and I've gone for two with a brake. One of the issues I've got here is this one is currently out of stock and this one is a different size. So what I've had to do is basically get a piece of wood which is going to sit there to deal with the height difference there. So with the wood there, that's pretty level now. So to start off today, we're going to get these fitted up and get all 6 casters in place, and then we can flip her over and we can start work on the boxes. Last one done. We'll just give this wood a quick paint and then we'll flip her over. Okay, there we go. Let's test these brakes. I've put them as far forward as I can so it's easy access for my foot. Just push it down like that. And the same again, like that. The floor's not level, so this isn't actually touching. Now it is. There we go. So obviously on an uneven floor it's not going to work very well, but you can see here the brakes are now on, it's not moving. You just flick them up with your foot to release them, like that. Now we're free to roll around. Right, let's get on with making some boxes. So for the boxes, I'm going to build a tall one in the middle, medium sized that end, and a low on this end. I'm just going to use some pallet wood, layer it up like this, and then another one as well. And then possibly one more for my first box. That creates the height there. We'll obviously have to chop some pallet wood down for the side pieces and then for these pieces as well. And we've got some of the leftover table, the offcuts, which I'm just going to basically put down inside here at the right place so I can screw in this way, screw in this way. We'll put one on the deck as well, screwed down, so we can screw in this way, and the same again this side, screw in. And then we've managed to get everything sort of secured down fairly straightforward without having to get too elaborate with the boxes. Obviously, it's not a lot of space, so height is going to be the key really. To kick things off, I'm going to get these measured up, these boards measured up, and cut to length and screwed into the back. I'm going to cut them halfway down here because obviously they're not long enough. I'm going to cut them where they meet halfway on this joist here, so that the other side, the extra half, can be used for the final piece going that way. So we're looking at 112.2. So that's what we'll cut them to. So we've marked out 112.2 and dropped the blade down just to double check. I'm just going to clamp it down so it doesn't move. Excellent. And now we can just place the plant pot as a temporary stopper. And now we can just cut the boards to length. There we go. Everything cut to length. Right then, let's get all these screwed in place. Okay, now that's done, we can cut some more boards to this side here. What we're talking about here, 57.5. So once again, we've measured it out to 57.5. Yep. Clamped it down so it doesn't move. Set the temporary stopper. We're ready to make a cut. Now we can get these drilled and screwed in place too. There's a very slight overhang there, which we can just tidy up with the disc sander. Okay, nice and flush. So now we can put this piece in here, put it up with this end, and then make a cut just here. This is going to be the lowest box. We'll do another one as well, and then we can put a final finishing piece in this box here. That's 115.5 times 2. Right, got them cut now. Nice. Okay, perfect. I think we'll leave these two boxes the same height in the end, just rather than putting an extra piece in here. Just doesn't seem any point. Right, so now we're going to think about the outer edge before we do the sides. And basically to secure it to the floor essentially, I've got a bit of this offcut from the table. I'm going to cut it to length and tidy it up. Basically that's going to go down inside here like that, as you can see there. Screw that down to the deck, and then when we bot this up like that, we can then screw this in here, and then that's secure. So we're going to put in the bottom rung to start off and get that all in place, and then the side walls as well. The side walls we need to cut to 19.5, near enough. Yep, 19.5. So we can cut those while we're at it as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4 side walls, 1 front piece, 19.5. This gap here is 48.5. Right, we've got all our bits cut to length, so we can get on with installing them. The first thing we're going to do is just install these down bits here. So we'll put the end piece up to where it needs to be, and then inside put that up there as well, and then we can screw that down, and then we can screw it in from the side. So now you can see that piece is solid, that piece is now solid, and then we'll carry on doing the same as we go along. There we go. So there's the 2 inner walls. So you can already sort of see that can just screw straight into there now. So next one. So obviously I'm not best pleased about that. I've made a bit of a boo-boo there with the measuring. But we'll leave it for now and we'll figure it out as we go. Because I'm going to put pieces like this in here so that as we're building it up, we've got something to screw into basically. But then on the next cut, we'll just make sure we cut it to the right length just to make it easy for fitting it up. So now what we're going to do is take this piece of the table here. We're going to put a piece in here and cut it to length here, 4 down. These side pieces, as we're building them up, can screw in from the back. The front pieces can screw into this side piece. This side the same. Front pieces can screw into these pieces, and these pieces can screw into these, which will be fixed in place. And then over this side, it'll be the same sort of story, but a bit higher. So for now, we're going to measure and cut these to length, and they need to be 27. Yeah. So let's get those cut. Right, we've pretty much got everything to cut to length, these bits and the side pieces. So we're just going to bosh on, get everything drilled up and in place. Right, I've reached the point now where everything is pretty solid. So now I've got this height difference, which we're going to have to basically mark, and I'm going to cut out on the jigsaw what I need to figure out this space in here. 53.5. So we just need to measure that, which is just shy of 6. Just shy of 6 here. Just get this straight edge. So that's what I need to remove. Just cut this piece off camera, just with a jigsaw. Got it all nicely lined up. Okay, solid. So this box is pretty much finished now. You can sort of see these bits of, well, for standing up really. Get the idea. Or you could obviously lay them down. You know, you're going to get plenty of smaller offcuts in there. So let's move on to finishing off the sides of the others. I've got this piece here which I'm just going to screw in again, just so that these bits here have got something to bite into. I've just cut a little shimmy piece here just to bring us back up to level. Just cut a little wedgie piece just to get the level. Same again, another little piece just to cap this off. Nice and snug. So that's everything pretty much in place. I assume you get the idea. Bigger pallets can sort of stand in the box like that and they're not going to go anywhere. Obviously you're going to get quite a lot in there if they're standing upright like this. Height wise doesn't really make any difference, but shorter pieces can go in the sort of lower box. The last thing we're going to do now is just tie these pieces together, because obviously they're just loose just now. Just going to put a piece down the back and just screw it in, keep it all nice and in place. So we've just got a piece of pallet in the back there, and we're just going to drill in from the front either side and just keep it all nice and tight together. Okay, nice. So there we go. That's the box is pretty much done, all nice and solid. Last thing we've got to do before we break it all down and sand it and get it ready for glue and final fit up, we'll just go around the back and we're going to lay the stopper which is where the plywood will butt up to. So this is the final piece of the old table that I've got left, and as you can see, we're just going to cut it to length and just screw it down here, and then the plywood has got something to butt up to when it's leaning up. Okay, there she blows, cut to length, looking nice. Okay, that's that screwed in. So I've got a bit of old plywood here, been kicking around for a good few years, and you get the idea here. Just going to lean it back in like that, and then obviously just stack them in as we go. You can also lean them in that way if we need to, which is again is even better. And if I get really worried about them blowing over in the wind or whatever, I might put a little eye there and just run a bungee round just to keep it in place. But I haven't got a lot of plywood just now, so I'm not too fussed about that. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to break it all down, give it a sand, get it all prepped and ready to go, and then I'll come back to you when we're going to start gluing and final fit up. Right. Whoa. Whoa. Right, that's the last of it prepped. So we'll have a quick sweep up and then we're going to have a glue up and a screw up. Right, I've kind of kept everything sort of semi-organised to make my life a bit easier. So I'm going to go ahead and get these boards on first. Okay, there we go. Right, that's everything pretty much rock solid now. We'll just flip it round and put the stopper piece for the plywood in place. Here it is, all nicely sanded. We want a bit of glue. We're all done. Pretty happy with that. Another solid day. Stopper's in place now, so the plywood is going to go something like this. So then this side, the boxes, stacking wood like that. On the shelves here, sliding wood like that, and the smaller box, stuff like that. And that's pretty much how it's going to go. So I'm all done for today. Sun's starting to set, so I'm going to wrap it up there, wait till the glue goes off, and then last thing I'm going to do is we're just going to come in and give a final stain and tidy up to all the bits that need it. But that'll be another day. Hi folks, next day now. Everything's dry and is looking ready to be stained, so I think we're going to crack on and get that done. Right then, that's the first coat all finished up, looking pretty good. Once that's gone off, I'll give it a second coat and then we can see about getting it loaded up full of wood. Looking forward to that. Right then, here we are, the finished product. We've had 2 coats of stain on it now. It's looking pretty good. It's all been drying out for the last couple of days, so I think it's pretty much ready to go. We've had a few thunderstorms as well, and it's held up quite well to the rain, which is good. So all that's left to do really now is get to organising all this wood over here, get it organised into sizes and stuff, and get it into our racks. So that's what we're going to do now. There we go. All the wood organised. What a relief. So let's have a look, see what we've got going on. Right, so this pile here on the floor is basically stuff that's a bit too punky, or I can't really use it in any project, so that's the kindling pile. That all needs breaking down and chopping up, and that'll be kindling for the wood burner. And now here you can see everything stacked up. Have a wander around the back. Got all our sort of shorter plywood bits there. Got a few other bits of plywood kicking around I need to go and have a look at. Bring them over. All the big chunky stuff is filling up the rack there. And all the pallets, different size pallets and offcuts and whatnot, they all go in the boxes like so. All very similar size, sort of grouped together so I can see what's what and get easy access. Walk around the back. And again, same deal there, look. Not bad really. Right, so the final test is, dare we to remove the brake? It's one side. I'm on a hill, so risky. Oof, that's on pressure there. That's two. Oh, and it's off. Oh, oh man, that's tough. So it definitely moves a bit more than I want it to be honest. Put the brakes back on. Yeah, so if it wasn't for the hill, it'd be quite straightforward to move around. The brakes work well, keeping it where it is. Obviously, we can sort of get it in position. I'm not going to move it around a lot. It's just nice to be able to move it when I have to. So we'll probably move it over to the corner there and get it in position. Pretty much ready to be used. The last few bits and bobs here, I need to break these down and get them stored. There's still a bit of pallet there, an old table and whatnot. But for now, they can stay where they are. So yeah, all in all, a success. I'm really chuffed with that. It's definitely going to keep my wood nice and organised. It's freed up my path as well, so I can finally, after almost 3 years, would you believe it, I can finally get back up my path again now and throw out all that rubbish that was hidden away. So all in all, a pretty successful project. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.